So, topic today is safe bearing capacity. Now, as you can see here, there is a load applied on soil, due to which some kind of wedge is formed, and this gives the birth of the term bearing capacity. Is the capacity of the soil to restrain the load. How much load can be applied to the soil before it gets crumbled or it gets deteriorated? So, to start with introduction, I will start with what is foundation. Like foundation is the lowest part of the structure, you can say, and it transfers the load of the structure to the soil. So it is a very important part of any structure. If any structure has a strong foundation, then it will automatically be safe. So a good designed foundation transfers load throughout the soil without overstressing the soil. So when overstressing occurs, it causes excessive settlement, or you can call shear failure in technical terms, which leads to damage of the structure. Therefore, the geotechnical and structural design engineer must also evaluate the bearing capacity of soil. So to design a safe foundation, we must evaluate the bearing capacity. Now here you can see different types of foundation in our industry. This is the spread footing, this is the mat footing, this is pile foundation, and this is the drilled shaft foundation. So what is ultimate bearing capacity for shallow foundations? So here we can assume that there is a load applied on a rectangular footing of width B located at a dense sand layer or stiff soil. So when this load is uniformly distributed as per Q per unit area, it causes settlement. So increase in uniformly distributed load increases the settlement of the footing. Settlement in simple terms is the amount of the by which the soil is lowering due to load applied. So settlement means the soil is settling down or going down. On reaching the value of QU, QU is the capacity in which settlement occurs, very large settlement occurs. So when there is a sudden increase in settlement, it reaches a QU formation. So this is the ultimate bearing capacity of the soil. So you can see there is large settlement occurs. So this is QU. Here two types of failure. One is general shear failure, and here is a local shear failure. So general shear failure occurs when it's stiff. When the soil is less dense, local shear failure occurs. So it gives the relationship between settlement and load per unit area. So this is the general shear failure. You can see the soil has gone down. And here, this is a local shear failure in which this zone is not there. So only two zones are there, 1 and 2. Third zone is not there. So this is the formula for carrying out the ultimate bearing capacity. C dash NC. C is the cohesion factor and NC is the cohesion factor for cohesion. This is the load, surcharge load, and this is the factor for surcharge, and this is the density of soil factor, in which how dense the soil is. So half gamma B n gamma. These are the factors which were made by Terzaghi. So NC is equal to tan phi dash. Phi is the friction angle. Kc plus 1. N is equal to k cube tan phi half tan phi. But to find out Kc, Q, and K gamma values, it was very tough. So what he did was he used superimposition formula, in which first he take as a cohesionless soil and a less dense soil. And then he take this 0 and this 0. So on taking 0 values, he deciphered the value of what you can say NC, NQ, and gamma, in which NC, NQ, and gamma are what you can say these factors. So he tabulated these factors with the help of superimposition principle, in which by taking different values 0 at different times. So and for square footing, a factor 1.3 is applied, and here 0.4 gamma, and for circular footing you can say it is 0.3 gamma. So Terzaghi suggested these two equations for carrying out the bearing capacity for square footing and circular footing. So when local shear failure occurs, this cohesion decreases by 2 by 3 of its amount. An angle of friction also decreases by 2 by 3 of its tan phi dash. So phi dash will be tan inverse of 2 by 3 of tan phi. So NC, NQ, and N gamma will be calculated based on this mu phi, and C dash will be replaced by the mu C. So this occurs when the local shear failure occurs. So effect of groundwater. Here you can consider three cases when the groundwater is above footing, at the footing, and below footing. So case one will be like gamma df minus d, where df is the depth of footing and d is the groundwater level above the footing, plus gamma dash d, which is the submerged unit weight. This is gamma minus gamma dash, gamma saturated minus gamma w. So for different cases, you can add the water table as per according to the situation. And these are the forces acting on the footing. This is the dead plus live load, and this is the soil. So, but the equation what was developed by Terzaghi had several, what you call drawbacks. Like the n gamma factor was, very much over assumed. So the difference in assumption of the wedge shape soil located directly above the footing. So n gamma was varying differently. So three scientists, Merov, Yunlug, and Morrison, Bessick and Hansen was developed it later, developed new factors for NQ, NC, and N gamma. So new factors were developed by these two, and so we can replace these two factors in the equations. And later on, it was also modified based on the inclination factor, shape factor, and depth factor. So when the phi is zero, angle of friction is around zero for cohesionless soil, it's around 1 plus 0.2 times V by L gamma CS shape factor, and this is 1 like gamma in depth and gamma inclination. So these are the different formulas for different types of inclination and depth factors. So when this formula was tested on site, this kind of correlation was found. So it was matching. So we can assume that this formula is correct. Now another term comes in bearing capacity is eccentricity. So to calculate the shearing bearing capacity of shallow foundation, Merov introduced the concept of effective area. Here we can say if eccentricity occurs in x direction, we can assume breadth minus 2e. And if it occurs in the y direction, we can assume the length to be L minus 2 times the eccentricity. So now bearing capacity of sand. So SPT occurs based on this. This formula is there, like 960 is the reduced SPT value based on some corrections, and FD is the force, and SE is the settlement which is occurs. And also a test known as plate load test is conducted inside, based on which we get the ultimate bearing capacity of the footing. So this is the formula, like QU footing is equal to QU plate divided by breadth of footing upon breadth of plate. So breadth of plate will be known and breadth of footing will be known. This is calculated using test, and so we can calculate this. Now coming on to the practical aspects, in companies or in company, you have to calculate the bearing capacity of the foundation. So there are many foundations, like there is a for retaining wall, you can assume this is a mid layer. There are many retaining walls. We have conducted one borehole in any location which is near to the retaining wall. So we get these properties, like 117 is the cohesion for first layer, 58.8 is the cohesion of second layer, and for the third layer, angle of friction is 35 degrees. So with respect to depth, like first is 4.5, 6, and 9. And this is the average SPT, and this is the what you can say the influence zone. So we are getting a very good influence zone here, and average SPT has been done. So based on this, we have calculated different changes. Like chainage is generally a good term in construction industry. Because chainage is the only defining term. So here we get different changes like 700, 720, 740. We applied same material properties as above to this. We have assumed safe, like using the above formulas which we have taken. Here we have used Merov equations. So NC, NQ, N gamma, SC, SC, SQ, DC, and inclination factors. All these combined give the SBC at 2.86. Our load was 87.71. We have designed as length 20 into 1.85 as a footing. So I think this is the width we put. This is 20. So by varying these two values, we get the different SBC. Now you can use also plexus to get SBC. So here is the mean stress curve. This is the mean stress values, and this is the what you can say auger pile which is drilled. So the SBC can be computed using Plaxis. As you can create a soil model there and apply load here, and also create the active and passive zone. So this here peat was removed, and after removing the peat, we applied this load and calculated the run the Plaxis and calculated the stress mean stress curves. New like a different software SolidWorks is used. Here you can get the like different parameters are put for different thickness and different angle of friction, different E modulus. This is the Poisson's ratio, CS 0.02, and this is the consolidation factor for clay. And here we use depth as 7 meters, the groundwater value, and this is a different type of different foundations. So here we get like settlement of allowable settlement is around 2.54, and we can get like different types of method, Westgard and isobars. So after this, we get these kinds of curves. After running this, like pressure bar is also there. This is the bearing capacity thing, and here you can get like different isobars, and we can also generate some reports like by certain options are there in the project, in the software. So it is a very good software for carrying out SBC and different things. And also using Abacus, you can also calculate the SBC. So Abacus is generally a FEM software which models the material model. So here it was a footing. Here is the footing, and it was modeled using the properties of the footing, like elastic modulus was there, friction angle was there, and Abacus was run. And so this kind of curve was generated for different values of vertical stress and vertical displacement. So here we get the ultimate bearing capacity. It's around 1300. So this value also matches with the Terzaghi values, which is around 14,000. So we can have a good correlation among different factors with Abacus software. So as you can see that there are many tools for calculating SBC in industry. One is the Excel file where you can get the different values by using different values. You can generate different results, and Plaxis is also used. Using Plaxis, you can get the stress values. So using these stress values as bearing capacity, you can calculate the bearing capacity of the foundation. Third is the SoilWorks. SoilWorks helps you to calculate by putting these factors, and it is a more more feeded thing. Like many things are feeded here, which you can use using SoilWorks. And third, Abacus. Abacus can also be used like for modeling 3D. For generating 3D models, we use Abacus. Also, Plaxis 3D can be used, but Abacus is generally preferred because it offers various other things apart from geotechnical engineering. This is all from my end. Thank you for your participation.